Okay, well here's the Idigbest system, and here's the main power cable that goes to it. That's the only cable you have in your cab with the mounting bracket. On-off switch is right there. I'm turning it on, and you can see the system boot up. Pretty simple, normal boot screen. And I'm just going to kind of show you some of the stuff. You got your function keys. Those are the function windows for each key, what they do. You got slope, speaker. This is a input button. You got buckets, and you got turn your laser on and off. Right here you've got your elevation, so which you can zero if you want to zero your elevation that you're digging at. This is the slope factor. Like if you tip the machine sideways, as you tip sideways you can see it turn sideways, so it shows you what kind of slope of a hill you're on. Right here the R is your reach, so that's when you're moving this machine backwards towards you. I just moved it towards it 2 inches, moved it away from it about 2 inches. Pretty simple. And this is your mouse keys right here. Input key obviously in the middle for mouse sides. This goes to menus. This returns you back to home. This is your zeroing button, and this is for slopes and things like that, which we'll learn more about. The little scale on the side is just to help you zero in on how close you're getting when you're putting your bucket to grade. So as you move it up and down, you'll see it adjust until you get closer and closer there. The other thing is it's got 2 different slopes or axes for your everything you got on there. So pretty simple system. The keys light at night, and you've got you can put a card in to store stuff and everything for it also, to move stuff. Clock in the top right corner. ES bucket, excavating solutions. Pretty simple. That's how it works. The big excavator system. You can see the bucket working as I turn the excavator. See it raising up and down. Right here I'm going to set up on this thing, and to zero it is all you do is hit that button right there. Zero. You're on that plane. If you want to measure the difference between here and here, 6 foot, I'm sorry, 0 feet, 6 1/4 inches negative, so it's lower. So the top of the tooth of the bucket right now is at 8.5. If I want to change this to my grade for digging flat, I just click it like that. And that's how you set the grades. How to use volume and the beepers so that you can listen to grade instead of watching. F2 is our speaker. Right now we've set this grade to 0, but we don't hear any noise. So we hit the F2, click through into speaker, enter, you leave it on speaker, and that's grade. Above grade, no noise at all the way we have it set. You can make a noise if you'd like, but once you get the grade, it's there, and then once you get below grade, I have it set for 0.6 inches below grade, starts flashing. So until you get back up to grade, so you try to hold a level line. Obviously this goes a little harder. Pretty good at it, aren't I? Too low though, it beeps. Too high, it gets quiet. And to shut it off, same thing. Just hit your F, switch it to the X, and hit enter. Okay, let's talk about the laser feature. That's the laser right there, F5. You can click it on. You take it to where it has an A in front of the laser. Just click through the screens. An X means you're not using it. Hit the enter button. And you can see how it is right there. Well, when you use the laser, you want to get a reference for it, just like you do with the grade pull in a man. And that's where you type it in the top grade where it says the zeros right now. So all you do is you find your difference. So if your grade is 10 foot below your beam, you just hit the bottom button down here, and it's going to turn this green, and it'll start flashing. And when it does, you can set your grade. So let's say we want to set a grade below the laser beam, or we shot it, or the plan, say, whatever we figured it. And let's say it's like 12 foot. So just scroll left and right to each number, move it down, move it up. We want to be negative 12 foot because we're below it. And just put it in, say 12 foot 7. How about that? Just click it over 12.7, 0.1 inches, doesn't really matter. Enter. So now, anytime that you go through the laser beam, and then you can see it says laser, and it's waiting for us to pass through it, it's going to now calculate everything at 12 foot 7 below. Then when you move, it doesn't matter, or however it goes, but it's going to calculate everything for you. So, you know, if you're digging a basement, it's 12 foot 7 below the grade, or let's say it's 8 foot, you'd set it to 8 foot, digging footers. Every time you back up, you just wave through the laser beam again, and simply just start digging. No labor needed, no shots. You're shooting your own grade. Everything's working out just absolutely as simple as can be. Alright, we're going to talk about profiles. You can see the dip right there and the P for profile. To get to that, you just hold the F key down. It'll flash. It'll ask you which profile you want to use or input. You get up to 4 profiles. So it's really simple. I just made a profile of this, which was simple. I just copied it in. And to start out, I made it in the center, so my point's right there. So all I do is start myself out. Boom, there's my 0 center point. I could have made 0 up here, but that was what I choose for 0 in this situation. So if I was digging this, there's no dirt here, I'd come down until I saw it there. Might have the beeping on, come across. You can see it as I come down. You can see it right there on it. Coming right down to the profile, you go across there, and you come right on up here like this, and it levels right off like that. Very simple. Absolutely nothing to it. The bigger the machine, the easier it is. But you can take that profile. Let's say this profile was twice as long as my machine. I can take the profile and stop right here anywhere, make a mark with a key, and then back the machine up, retouch that point, boom, and continue my profile on. So it's really great for all kinds of different side ditching, pools, anything that's got a curve to it that works. Okay, let's say we have our grade up here at the top. We set it to 0 where it's at. And let's say we've got to go down 5 feet, or in this case we're going to use inches because it's a much smaller machine, but let's say our next grade's at 5 inches lower. So all you do is hit the bottom button here, this starts flashing green. Now you put in your offset. So down would be negative, and let's set the, it's 5.9 inches, go to 4.7. We can go anywhere we want with this thing. Even 100 if we want. So 4.7 inches, okay? Hit enter. So now when we use this, when we go down, grade's going to be 0 at 4.7 inches. And anytime we ever do, like if we have a benchmark, let's say a stake or something, you know from all the stakes it's down 4.7 inches or 10 feet or a curb of a road or whatever, and you got to stay below a certain grade, you can set your offset in there. To get rid of the offset, just as simple, set it. You don't have to redo the keys, you just hit 0 and you're done, enter. So now you're back to your original offset. Okay, now we're going to figure, let's say we have a slope like this. We don't know what that slope is, and we're sitting on a hill all crazy. We're trying to figure out what it is. We want to match that slope maybe down farther in another area. So we hit our F1 button again, starts flashing. Click on through to slope. 1 and 2 is what that is going to let us input. It says set 1. So you want to do the farthest way slope first. You put it on that, and you hit the left arrow. And then it says set 2. Anywhere on it, you put it down another spot. You hit the right arrow, and you hit enter when you're done. Now you can see, if I set this to 0, if you can see that line through there, it's showing this slope exactly. And if I want to go higher, I can mimic that slope up higher or wherever and how I got to get to it. But that's very easy for copying slopes if you don't have one to type in. Now we're going to talk about, we've looked at grading flat, now we're going to talk about grading with slope. This is the slope key, F1. Hit it, and you just go on through the menu until you get, oops, I went right past, you can see everything in the menu. These are different options, there's a lot of stuff. This one right here, you can input your slope. So if your laser that you're laying your pipe is, say at a 0.82%. So I put on 0.82, hit enter. Now the slope is set to 0.82. So that's such a little bit. You can tell if I zero out where I'm at here and I move forward, it's so little it's not even measuring that distance, because obviously your 0.82% is 8.2 inches every 100 feet. So, but that's how simple it is. If you want to zero that back to 0, click this on so it's flashing. Just hit the 0 button and it puts it back to 0. Okay, we're going to talk about reach. That's the R on this screen right here. Reach gives you distance of measurement. To reach, you just hit the same button. It'll zero that and it'll zero the reach. So I reach this way and it says I'm 2 inches farther. I come back this way and I am -1 foot 3 inches back. It doesn't matter about things. It measures perpendicular with the Earth's gravity. So if you're measuring down a hill, it doesn't measure like a tape measure down a hill. It measures perpendicular. So from there is -4 inches from there.